Hello everyone. In this tutorial, we are going to see how to create any complicated mesh with the help of BlockMesh and SnappyX Mesh. For basic understanding of the SnappyX Mesh, I would advise you to watch my video attached in the description box, wherein I explain much in detail about the SnappyX Mesh. The problem here which I am going to solve is the filling up of the water tank. Before starting it, I will quickly show you what is our end result going to be. So this is what we actually wanted. Herein there is two geometries you can find. One is a cylinder and the other one is a rectangle. So what I am going to do is I am going to create a cylinder of height 50 centimeter and diameter of 30 centimeter, and this pipe is going to be attached to this rectangular tank of size 3 meter in the length axis and 1 meter width and 1 meter height. So this is what exactly we are going to solve in this tutorial. So I'm going to create this geometry with the help of an external source software called FreeCAD, and I'm going to import all the geometry to the OpenFOAM, and with the help of a BlockMesh and SnappyX Mesh, I'm going to generate the mesh. It is always possible to create any geometry with the help of a any mesh with the help of a BlockMesh alone, suppose if it is a kind of a regular geometry. However, the problem gets complex when the geometries are different, in which playing around only with the help of a BlockMesh is very tedious. For example, in this kind of problem, it is very difficult to provide the patch names and all, because the patch names are the areas wherein you will give the boundary conditions. So I'm going to provide you a solution for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now generate the geometry with the help of FreeCAD. So before starting it, let me quickly summarize. So we are going to create two objects in this FreeCAD. One is a cylinder of diameter 30 centimeter and height of 50 centimeter, and a tank of size 3 meter and 3 meter cross 1 meter cross 1 meter, and both of them are going to be embedded together. So I'll get quickly started with by creating the new geometry. So I'm going to now create a cylinder of say diameter say, so herein it is written as radius, so I'm giving radius as 0.15, that means diameter is 30 centimeter and height as 0.5 meter. Okay, don't worry about the units, because once it is going to be saved as .stl, there won't be any information regarding the units. So when you are importing it, so it will be just written as the numbers, so there won't be any units. So the OpenFOAM automatically take it as meter unit system. So now our cylinder is ready, so you can watch it here. So yeah, our cylinder is now ready. So I'm just going to place this cylinder. So before doing that, so I'll quickly create the rectangular object. So the rectangular object is going to be of size 3 meter in the length, so I'll just keep it like this, and 1 meter in the width and 1 meter in the height direction. So now what we wanted is, so we are just going to place this at 0.5 meter from the horizon. So now what I'm going to do is, the cylinder has to be attached to this tank, right? So now we need to just rotate the cylinder so that it is getting fixed to the rectangular tank. So for which I'm just clicking, sorry, there should be something kind of called a placement. Yes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate it along the y-axis for an angle of 90 degree, so that it is going to get attached. Okay, now the cylinder is rotated, so now I'm going to just position it. So in x-axis it will be similar like that. So in z-axis it's going to be 0.5, sorry, y-axis, and in the z-axis it's going to be 0.5. So our geometry is now ready, but what we need exactly here is, so suppose if our cylinder and this rectangular object, if it is not connected properly, there will be some problem in the mesh generation. So what we are going to do is, we are just going to unite both of the geometries. So I'm just running the union operation. So I'll name it as, say, like volume, okay, because this is the entire volume. So first our job is done, our geometry is done, but we need information regarding the patches, right? Because patches are the positions where we'll give boundary conditions in OpenFOAM. So we need to provide example, we need to provide the inlet of the pipe. You can find the orange ring here, right? Inlet of the pipe, and we need to provide informations of all the walls, as well as the, for example, herein I am going to create I have kept a gravity along the y-axis. So this is going to be my atmosphere boundary condition. Example, this is going to be open to the air, so I'm going to provide this as a outlet, and this is as an inlet, this as an inlet, and the surrounding hall as a wall condition. So that means water flows from here, get filled in the tank, and suppose if the water is getting exceeded, it will come out through this outlet. So for doing that, we need informations regarding, informations means we need the phase information, that means our patches. So for which what we are going to do is, like, we are just, so this would be our inlet. So but in order to get this information, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to switch on, so 1 second, I think it must be here, yeah. So I'm just going to switch on this selection view. So herein it will show you the face which is selected. So I'm just going to just duplicate it so that it will get saved in this view. So what we are going to do is, we are now going to rename it as inlet, because we are going to give it as an inlet boundary condition. So rest of the things are going to be like a wall conditions, right? So here in my y-axis is the gravity axis. So before doing that, we'll create the outlet, okay? So this will be my outlet. So I'm just duplicate the subshape and rename it as outlet. So now our other, so we just now need to give the other things like the walls, okay? So these are all going to be our walls, because the fluid flow will not take place in that direction. So what we are going to do is, now we can duplicate, so we'll do it entirely, so no problem. So this one, and this one, except y-axis we need to select all the things. Sorry, it has my mouse has some problem, so I'm just not like able to do it properly. So I'll just do it now simply. So this one, sorry, and this is going to be the other one. this is going to the 5th direction, and so all the other 6 faces are now ready. So you are now going to duplicate it as, okay, duplicate. So just duplicate it, duplicate subshape. So other shapes are now ready. So now we can now close the selection view because my window size is so small. Okay, so now we are going to, what we are going to do is we are going to give patch as wall. That means I'm going to give a wall condition. So now once again I'm going to run the union of several shape. So don't worry about it. If your shape is correct and if it is properly connected, everything will be done. So it will not lead to any unexpected results. So I'll now rename it as, say, like walls, because it has all the walls. So now we'll quickly check it whether what we have in the boundaries are correct. So we'll just so we can now see our inlet is correct. So once again I'll just give toggle visibility so that we can get a feel of what exactly it is. Then I'll give the outlet also, I'll switch off the visibility for the outlet. So now we can see our y-axis is perfect. Yeah, this is going to be our atmosphere. Okay, and all the other walls are properly connected, so no problem. So now your mesh files and geometry files, all the things are now ready. So now we can export it. Okay, so file, so we just need to export it as, so I'll just save it desktop. Okay, I'll just save it in the desktop. Okay, no problem. I'll keep a new folder, that means my cylinder, so I'll say it as filling up of a tank. Okay, a tank. So this would be, so what I'm going to, we need to save it as .stl file. So I'm just naming it as volume. Okay, we'll quickly see whether it is created now. Yeah, our STL file is now ready. Or but we need to export the other things also. So I'll quickly do it. So this is my inlet file, and this is my outlet file. Outlet, and these are all my wall files. Okay, so I'm just naming it as walls. So now it is ready. So what we are going to do is we are going to select all this and we are going to keep it in our folder, in the folder tri-surface, called tri-surface. Okay, I have did it previously. Now anyway I will delete all the things. Okay, so I will place all the things entirely new. So now everything is now created, our geometry file is now created. So before starting it, what we need to do is we need to create a mesh from the block mesh. We need to create a bigger domain with the help of block mesh, and you are going to now keep this geometry inside that domain, and you are going to run your snappyx mesh command in order to create the mesh of what we wanted. So I'll just quickly explain. So once again I'll just show you the video also, so that you will be much more clear. Okay, video will show you the dimensions, correct? So I'll pause here. So the entire domain is of now size starting from 0 to 3.5 in the x-axis, 0 to 1 along the y-axis, and 0 to 1 along the z-axis, correct? So but we need to create a bigger size domain, so that is going to be done here in the block mesh. So in the block mesh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now create a bigger size domain. My x minimum, that means in the x-axis the starting point is kept as -1 and the ending point is kept as 4. So similarly y-axis -1 to 2 and -1 to 2. So let me now quickly run a command called block mesh. Okay, that would make you clear like how exactly it is going to be. I think there is some issues with the block mesh. Once again I'll just pause it, and so I will come back. I think there was some problem in the naming of the file folder, wherein like I have kept some spaces. Generally you should not keep some space, otherwise your mesh generation will be a problem, and even running a command is a problem. So now once again I'll open this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the previous files. Okay, yeah, everything is now cleaned. So now we'll generate the block mesh. Okay, so our block mesh generation is now over. We can view this with the help of ParaView, before which I'll just create a file for viewing. Where it is, I think it should be once again. I'll just see why there is a problem. There should be something. We'll see by creating the ParaView now. Or else what we can do is we can just simply, so I think there will not be any files now. Yeah, now the files are created. I think there was some problem. So I'll just quickly open this view.form, apply OK. You can see your geometry is now ready. So I'll keep it with not wireframe, be only the outline. Okay, outline with my data axis grids on. Okay, I have created a bigger size, -1, 4. Also like in the z axis and the y axis I kept it as -1 and 4. Okay, so there is no problem. So our domain is now bigger enough. So we'll just see like whether all our files, all our geometries lying inside this domain, because if it is outside of the domain, those things will be cut during SnapX meshing. So what we can do is we'll just open our STL files, which is saved in trisurface. So volume. Okay, so yeah, you can see it, right? It is entirely lying inside this bigger size domain, and the meshes which are going to be created for this geometry is dependent on the block mesh which is generated here. So I'll close it now. So herein I was specified a simple grading of 150 cells in the x-axis, 150 cells in the z-axis, 100 cells in the y-axis, 100 cells in the z-axis. Okay, so you need to just keep in mind your meshing is going to be dependent on this. If you want very finer mesh, you can adjust this values, or you can play around the gradings also as like you want. So suppose if you want I'll just quickly open it once again for you in the terminal window of ParaView. Okay, one second, so please don't mind, this is for your understanding actually. So yeah, also I'll keep the data access grid on. Okay, so whatever we did for the mesh is for the block mesh, right? As of now we did only block mesh. So what is it is going to do is from -1 to 4, that means for 5 meters it is going to split the cells as 150 cells. Okay, so similarly on the other side also for this 3 meters, that means starting from -1 to 2, it is going to split the cells as cells into 100 cells. So even once after you generate the mesh for the geometry, it is going to be same, your mesh parameters is going to be same. That means example if you have for 5 meters, if you are saying like you are dividing into 150 cells, it is going to be, so 5 divided by 150, that means to roughly say it is, so I'll say you it is going to be 0.033. Your cell size along x-axis is going to be 0.033, and similarly along this axis it's going to be, along z-axis it's going to be 0.03. okay, so you can expect the same grading of the cell size for the geometry also. So you should always keep in mind, suppose if you want any finer refinement, so what you need to do is you need to create your block mesh also finer for it. Okay, so now your block mesh is now ready. Then before starting so some of you might face a problem while you open files in the ParaView, so in order to open and see the files in the ParaView, you need to give all your patch names. Herein I have given in the block mesh 6 patches, so you need to give all the patch names in the corresponding files, example in all the variables, otherwise there will be a problem in loading the data. Okay, so you just need to keep this one in mind. Once you will also see, like once after generating your mesh for the geometry, you will find all the other patches will go off, only the patches for the geometries will exist. So now we'll see what are the things we just need to change in the surface feature extract and the SnappyX mesh ticked. Okay, so in the surface feature extract, you just need to give the surface STL files. You might have example, like you might have 4 STL files. This is going to be for your entire geometry. These are all your surface files, right? These are all your patches, correct? So in order to understand, I'll say it as patches. So you just need this patch information, that means your surface file. This is going to be surrounding your entire volume. Okay, so you just need to give only those informations here. You are just going to extract the features of the surfaces alone. So that is what the surface feature extract means. Then we'll go into SnappyX mesh. So herein you need to mention all the STL files which you loaded, so including your entire geometry and your surfaces, that means your wall profile walls, example your inlet wall, outlet wall and other surrounding walls. Okay, these are all going to be your surfaces. This is going to be your entire volume. So then what you need to do is, this is for the explicit feature edge refinement. This is for the surface features, not for the inside object. That means inside domain, it's only for the surfaces. So only 3 patches are there, right? Your inlet, outlet and walls. so for which only like you are going to explicitly perform the surface feature edge refinement. Herein I don't want any explicit surface feature refinement, so I kept all the things as 0. And for the surface based refinement, I did not do any refinement, because this tutorial is only meant for generating the mesh for complicated geometries. So if you want much information about what exactly this all the things does, so once again I'm saying you can just watch my video for the SnappyX mesh, which is attached in the description box. So I don't want any refinement region, so herein like I have switched off the refinement box. I don't want it, and even I don't want any additional sub layers. Okay, so I switched off all the things. So I just need to load all the things, and these are the snap controls. You can get more information in that video. So what you are going to do here is you are just going to keep your volume file only in the geometry, and you just need to mention your feature edge refinement boxes and the surface based refinement. So if you want any surface based refinement, otherwise it's not a problem. The very important is your location of mesh. Okay, location in mesh. So herein I kept it as 2 0.5 0.5. So it will, so I'll load it once again for you. Which is going to be somewhere inside this object. So you want to do the meshing for this object, right? So what you need to do is you need to keep the location in mesh point somewhere inside this geometry. Otherwise, if you keep it somewhere here, let me say like -1 comma -1 comma -1, then what it does is like it will remove this center geometry, and it will create mesh for the surrounding thing. So you don't want that one, you want for the geometry. Okay, so that's why you need to keep the location in mesh inside the objects. This is very important. So other things are fine, you can watch the previous videos. So I don't want to save it because like already I did it. So and other things are like in the control dict for a flavor, like what I'm doing is like I'm just writing only my 3 variables: the velocity, my pressure, and the water variable. Okay, so if you want to learn like how to exactly store what exactly you want, you can watch my other video which is also attached in the description box. Okay, then the rest of the things are same, but let me quickly go through what are the things which are there in the zero folder, because like this is really so important, because you need to now give the boundary conditions. Okay, your inlet boundary condition, your outlet boundary condition, and also your wall boundary condition. So anyway, I don't want any water to flow out of the wall, right? So I'm just giving it as 0 gradient, and the inlet as a fixed value, and the value as uniform 1. Okay, then the other main importance, like you don't need these things and all, because I'm just generating a turbulence model. If you want, you can check it with the laminar model, don't worry about it. And the main thing is, because the water has to flow, right, you need to give the flow rate in the velocity. So I'm just giving my mass flow rate as 300, which is going to be in kilogram per second. Okay, please do remember that. Okay, yeah, rest of the things are pretty easy. And for the pressure also, you're just going to keep it as like for your velocity, so you can choose that. So rest of the thing I don't want to discuss in detail. Just to give you a flavor of the direction of the acceleration due to gravity, I'm just keeping it in the y direction. Okay, so your gravity will be in the y direction. So you don't need this information now. So now all the things are ready. So what we are going to do is like we now going to get surface feature extract to extract the features. Okay, for more detailed information, you just watch the video on the SnappyX mesh. Okay, so now the features, the surface features are now extracted. So now what we are going to do is like we are now going to run SnappyX mesh. Okay, yeah, so it will take some time now. So until then I'll just pause my video. We will see once after the simulation is over for the mesh. I welcome back you all. So the SnappyX mesh is now ready. So we'll just quickly see what it has created. So I'll just close the previous paraview now, and I'll just open you now the paraview window. Okay, so yes, now your mesh is ready. So we can view with the help of surface with edges. You know, like I have given you a uniform mesh size, so you got something everywhere uniform, and even here also like you got a uniform, but this and all is based on your features which is mentioned in the SnappyX mesh. Okay, yeah, somewhat nice, right? In order to understand the tutorial, like it would be nice. So in future if you want, like you can explore much into the SnappyX mesh based on your problem. Okay, so key things which are to be noted here is, herein like you have only now 3 patches, right? So before doing that I'll just show you your inlet patches. Okay, outlet patches. Okay, outlet means your top patch here. So yes, yeah, for the y-axis, right? And your walls are, everything is now ready. So key things are which are to be noted here is like what are the things which are mentioned in the block mesh text. You have mentioned like 6 different patches, right? So it won't be now there. So everything is now rewritten now. So even in the polymesh file, like I think the boundary, yes, herein like you can find only your information regarding these 3 boundaries, because rest of the boundaries are lying outside this geometry, so there won't be any information for those geometries and the boundaries, or let me say it as a patch. Okay, so yes, now I conveyed what all the things which I wanted. So if you want, like I can just simply show you whether my foaming works. So I'll just run the interform command. Yes, the simulation is running, but for this video, like it took me almost 1 day for the simulation, but I don't want to run it once again. So it's going to be exactly the same. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can write things in the command, so I can just clarify you. Okay, so I can show you once again. Yeah, the simulation is running properly. So let us all see in the next video. See you then. Bye.